change, still got your name and your number, but it doesn't really matter cause you're too far away. At least that's what I'll tell myself today.
Hi, nice to meet you all. I'm Jess.
Jess,
Hi,
thank you
Jess.
so much for having us.
No problem. I'm here with Eric and Punk Rock Ryan. Obviously, you see their names. They're my co-hosts. They are both in Detroit, Michigan. I am in the Philly area, Pennsylvania.
Who's in Detroit?
Well, you're like 2 hours from Detroit, I guess, right? You're in Michigan.
If you're in Michigan, it's considered Detroit to most of the
I
world.
think Detroit only.
Right?
I
It's
don't know
more
why.
than a hop, skip, and a jump, though.
Yeah.
No one's like, oh, you're in St. Clair Shores. It's Michigan. It's Detroit.
I just wanted to express my commitment to shows because I do make that 4-hour round trip to go see them because
We
there
know
is
because
no
you bring it
sitting
up
by
every
me,
episode,
you
Ryan.
know. And this is why I love doing this so much, is because there was no ska near me and I can bring it to people that I grew up with and have had no idea, except for like that one or two Sublime songs that played in the 90s for that hot minute. But anyways,
But Ryan, have you ever flown to Detroit to go to a ska show? Because I might have you beat there.
flown? No, I do still live in Michigan. Flying down the freeway though a few times, I'll tell you that much.
I went out to Detroit one time to see a fantastic festival in my friend's backyard, and a band called the Boy Detective played. And I should bring this up because they messaged me today and was like, well, when are we going to get to play with them? And I said, well, I'll solve that case on our call tonight. They love you.
They're so cool. Yeah.
You
I
guys
liked their album.
You were on the Christmas on the Upbeat album together this year, I believe.
Yeah. And our friend Eric, he's always telling us, hey, listen to this band. And I know he reached out to you, so he sent us the Boy Detective. Yes.
Oh, awesome. I did want to start off this episode saying that if it was not, I mean, I probably would have come across you at some point, but Eric was like really adamant about me checking y'all out. He sent me a message and was like, listen, I listened to your podcast with Rich from the Goblin Club. And then he started talking about how he works with you, I believe, right, Kayla?
Yeah.
And how much he loves you and insisted that I check you out. And I'm glad I did because I loved the last album and I just started diving into some other stuff too, but really, really, really dig your music. And we're really glad to have you on.
Thank you.
100%.
Thank you.
Yes.
That was the Eric that I got to meet at the Midwest Ska Fest, right?
It was.
His nephew. He was such a cool dude. What's up, Eric? I'm sure you're listening because you always listen. So I just want to give you a shout out, dude. You're awesome. Love you, bro.
Eric,
nobody supports us like Eric does. He's the best.
That's awesome. I saw he was doing a little street teaming for you at Supernova last year, and hopefully you'll get to play there one day. Who knows? Or come out to the East Coast so we can see you.
Eric burned his own CDs. He burned his own like demo CDs of our music to hand out to people. Like, we didn't ask him to do anything. I'm not sure we knew that he was going until he was like, oh yeah, I'm heading out to Supernova like tomorrow, or he was already there. And he sent us the box of like CDs, which is like there's like 4 or 5 tunes. It was giving someone a whole album isn't but he handpicked of like, here's what you should listen to from this band, and he made his own CDs and then went around giving our stuff out. It was awesome.
That's a dedicated fan.
He reached out to me. Well, he walked to my cube. He's like, Kayla, I'm going to the festival. Like, do you want me to hand stuff out? I'm like, oh my God, like, if you don't mind. And I got him like 10 CDs and some stickers and stuff. And he was like, you can give me more. And I'm like, I want to weigh you down. Like, I want you to go have fun. He's in the pit. He's skanking. But yeah. Oh, I'm sure you can. But he literally, I was like, nah, this is good. Just go have fun. Appreciate you thinking of us at all. And then, yeah, he went and he's like, this wasn't enough stuff. I burned CDs. I'm like, thanks, Eric.
We should mention to the listeners, because I don't think we've said your name yet, but we are talking with Kayla, Thomas, and Ryan from Voluntary Hazing, a San Jose ska pop punk band, yes?
Yes.
And maybe you were at Supernova last year, and maybe you got handed one of their CDs. And if so, it was thanks to Eric.
100%. That's our guy.
So, do you like to play games?
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah, we are going to start off with a game tonight.
Let's play a
Alrighty.
game.
Because it's a Friday night. It's 9:30 here. I know it's only 6:30 there, but we
Thank you,
figured why
guys.
not play a quick game of categories, which is nothing like categories. It's just a rapid fire question session to just kind of break the ice. And I have a few questions, and you guys can go around and answer them in whichever order you prefer. First thing that comes to your mind is always best, obviously, but I'm going to start with who is the first non-ska band artist that comes to your mind? And if you could cover any song by them, what would it be?
Kayla, I know you have answers. I think you should jump. I see the look on your face. Hit it.
I'm trying. I'm not. There's so many. And there's
Okay.
also like there's levels to this because there's like songs I would love to cover that I have to convince the rest of the band to cover, which is a lot of things we do.
Ooh, what songs are those? That's cool.
Like, so my favorite artist of all time is John Bellion, and the band likes to like gaslight me that he doesn't even exist, which
He's
is a
not
weird
a real.
angle.
He's not a real performer. He's not.
I don't know who this is. Never heard of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sure, I'm a little obsessed, but like anything by John Bellion would be awesome. And the band, like, I just know that's just not gonna happen. We vote, we're a discography. That will never get voted into covers for us.
Maybe like a birthday gift to you one day. Who knows?
Aw.
Don't ruin the surprise. I'm writing this down as you speak. I know for one, I've been on a massive Bjork kick recently. Like 95% of my listening in the last 3 months. I can't tell you why. I just missed out on her discography. I don't even know what we could cover from that. I know like Venus as a Boy is almost a reggae. You could probably reggae that up pretty good, but her vocal delivery is so odd that it feels like it would be impossible to cover in any capacity. But Kayla, hey, if you want to take on
It wouldn't be the
Icelandic,
same.
You got this, Kayla.
Think right now I've been listening to Sabrina Carpenter. And
Okay, we should actually though.
My favorite song right now is Slim Pickens. I love that song. It's like super country, and I think it would fit really well. And I
because
think
we're
it'd
a
be very
country
funny to
band.
have- Yeah, because we're a country band. It's true. It's very true.
What's
And
a
I think it would be
girl
funny to see.
do?
Yeah, I want you to sing it. I think it would be really good. I think it'd be funny. And I want that. That's what I'm in right now.
Well, then we say Sabrina Carpenter.
Yes,
Ooh,
Sabrina
it
Carpenter.
works.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got him.
So, dream collab, which artist would you want to work with, living or dead? And they can be ska. It could be any genre you want. Who would it be?
John
I know
Bellion.
Kayla's answer. Yeah, there it is.
What was it?
John Bellion from Her.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I would probably it's the classic thing. I could say any name, but I don't know how they would mesh, you know. But my God, we just played a show with Bite Me Bambi. They're wild
Yes.
and
good.
incredible, and I say just, that was back in November, but time doesn't mean anything. But yeah, that was an awesome show, and they do, you know, like straight up ska in an incredible way and have such an incredible presence. And I think doing anything in any capacity with that group would be kind of cool.
So we're gonna see them this April at This Is Not Crinin Fest here, just outside Philadelphia. So if you want to just like come along with them and just collab with them, I'm sure they'll be up for it.
Just hop on stage.
I don't know if I can get you on the stage.
No,
with them,
you just
but-
technically just promised them that they would be
No,
in
I
sync with
didn't.
Bunny Band. That's what I heard.
Oh shit.
Well, we're one of the sponsors for the festival, aren't we?
Yes. Yeah.
So
we're-
I mean, that's gotta give you a little bit of leverage, right?
I mean, I
Let me
don't know.
bring this in. Neither of these people can promise that you will be on stage with Fighting the Gammy. So do not spend your life savings to get to Philadelphia to be disappointed.
I have to
But you
cancel
never
a
know.
plane
Did you
ticket
just
real
say
quick.
that somebody
Yeah.
was disappointed going to Croydon Fest, Eric?
Yeah, how can those
You
two
shut your
things be
dirty
together?
mouth.
They don't even have
Pretty that
tickets.
you're not disappointed.
Can they get in?
You will not be disappointed if you go to This Is Not Croydon. I will promise you that.
Are you going to get them in, Punk Rock Ryan?
Huh?
Are you going to get them in?
I'll bring a trench coat and I'll sneak them in that way.
Classic.
We'll stack up, we'll just be like this giant person.
We're just
Yeah.
very tall.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like it.
We're
A
getting
little rascal style, it'll be great.
That's what I was thinking. Yes.
And our band at full capacity is 13 people, so
Oh,
we just keep
shit.
stacking.
Ooh.
We might need a couple.
Muppets, man!
We could also be wide. A wide.
Yeah, we
tall.
can-
Yeah, you can be wide too.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
What do you have
3
to build
wide,
That's the biggest ska fan I've ever done seen. How about you, Thomas?
This is gonna be pretty cliche, but I think early to mid 2000s Real Big Fish.
Nice.
It's just that,
I mean,
that's
I
what
like it.
that's what got me here. I figured it may as well be what I'd collab with.
Makes sense. All right, what's the last show that you attended that you did not perform at?
I got one. It was
Okay.
what? A week and a half ago? Not even. It was last week. I got to see Half Past 2,
Nice.
Mustard Plug.
Ooh.
I had to leave. I had to leave before Voodoo Glow Skulls because work. But I got to see those two, and it was so much fun. Awesome show.
Sweet.
Both those bands have been on our show.
I
Yeah.
know. We're kind of
Like
pretty
in
excited
the
to be
same
here.
in the same week we talked to them. Do you remember? We were
What'd you
like,
say?
we
Yes.
talked to them in the
Actually,
same week.
we
which
talked to them both in the same
normally
week. That's right.
do. But we couldn't pass up the opportunity. We're like, yeah, we'll do 2 in 1 week for this. Okay.
You guys go all in.
Great people. And yeah, some of our favorite bands, really good live bands. So it's great. You got to see them. Where did you see them play? In San Jose?
San Francisco at Bottom of the Hill.
San Francisco. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. They had that
Fun.
big show at Garden Grove down in SoCal where the Goodwin Club and Manamoska and a bunch of other bands joined them too. And I wanted to go out for that so bad. But
I know that was a good
well,
lineup.
all the way on the other coast, so it's not that easy.
Yeah.
The last show that I saw, God, it's marked in my calendar, of course. 2 weeks ago, I went to see not a ska show, but I went and saw a Bay Area San Jose band called Miss Hits, that are previous bassist or a previous bassist. Bass is the one position, and that I think we're on our 7th or 8th bassist at this point. There's one instrument in every band. It's bass for us, our current bassist, and I mean our last handful of bassists have all been great, but our current one is hopefully he sticks around. But it was one of our previous bassists, Leela. She started this like neo soul funk jazz outfit called Miss Hits, and they played a show. They're putting out an album in about a month maybe, and they did a show in San Francisco that was super tight, and it was fun to see them do that. Very not ska, but very talented musicians.
What was the last show? The last show I saw was Weezer. I saw
Oh,
the
that's
Weezer
cool.
tour. Yeah.
Blue album or Pinkerton?
Blue album.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, it was.
Anybody a Pinkerton fan?
It was
I
great.
picked Pinkerton.
I pick Pinkerton. How about the rest of you?
Blue.
I'm not into Weezer as much as I should be.
I have the same answer as Ryan.
Oh, okay. So it's like a tie. Oh wait, you said which Ryan?
Well, other Ryan hasn't really spoken to his
No,
Weezer
Punk Rock
position.
Ryan said blue, and the other one said he's not
Oh.
a Weezer fan.
So Ryan with an A.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's like a
That's
3-way
two,
tie.
2-2, yeah.
And since I don't know, we're just gonna say Pinkerton wins anyway. Go ahead.
Host privilege.
Post privilege. Pinkerton always wins. It's the
Are you
big.
gonna ask him the farm animal question yet?
No, I don't have that on the outline, but if you want to, you can.
Now I'm
Let's
intrigued.
hear it. So, if you could be any farm animal, what farm animal would you be?
Pig.
Why?
Because
Because you said that really fast.
Yeah, because they're
Smart.
the most intelligent animal on the farm.
Yeah,
Fair.
but they get
I
eaten.
feel like I feel like I'm probably just as smart as a pig. So it's like it's just a horizontal move, right?
Eric, wasn't that your answer on another podcast, a pig?
Me?
Yes. Yes.
I don't remember.
I remember your reason why too, but I won't say it.
What was my reason?
I'm not going to share. It was the first time you saw two pigs doing something and your child was there.
Wait, whoa. I don't think I said I wanted to be a pig for that reason.
No, I think you didn't say you wanted to be a pig. You said it was your favorite farm animal. Because of
That
that.
wasn't.
Oh my
that wasn't-
gosh, this really happened. I am not making this up. I would never come up with this.
Did you just say that they were my favorite farm animal because I saw them mount each other? Is that what you
It's exactly how you said it
literally
back
just
then.
said?
So.
I don't think I did. So what's the next question you want to talk about? Have you guys ever seen Black Mirror?
Oh no, two other people still have to answer this. We're gonna maintain
Yeah, I don't
this
wanna be the
awkward
only
moment for
one.
you.
Yeah.
No, you're the pig.
Yeah.
Anyways, I would probably go with a chicken because chickens are known to be like prolifically stupid. And I think it would be kind of fun to have not a care in the world and just kind of like hop around for a little bit. Have no other reason other than that.
That's legit though. That's straight legit.
That's a good reason.
I think for me, it would like depend what kind of farm we're talking. Because there are some farms where it's like these cows are just totally mistreated, pushed together. Life sucks.
I thought this was like an
and then
idyllic, like the platonic ideal
is
of
like a
barnyard.
beautiful,
You know,
Almost
like-
down.
I know what Thomas said.
Golf
We're
farm.
gonna say it's Volvo
Almost
Downs Farm.
Okay, because
Yeah.
if it's like it's it's a happy little farm and the
Yes.
cows get to graze and it's green and the sky is blue, like I feel like the cows are vibing, you know?
All right.
I'd go with the cow.
Dude, the cows are vibing.
Where's the weirdest place you've ever woken up?
And why
Uh,
was it with a cow?
I was
Oh,
going to say
no.
a farm animal joke. Darn it.
weirdest place I've ever woken up. This is a good question.
We've gotten some great answers to this.
I don't know if it's weird. It's definitely the most unique place. World War II submarine. When I was a Cub Scout, we used to camp on a submarine near that's docked at San Francisco. It's the USS Pompanito, and we would spend an overnight in the submarine, and that would be it. We were Cub Scouts, we're children. It was cool. But it's probably the weirdest place. I feel, without feeling like this could be awkward.
You're probably
think
the
you
only
would be.
person that's ever woken up in a submarine here, maybe.
I mean,
Maybe.
I
mean-
feel like it's kind of a Boy Scout thing. I mean, as Boy Scouts, I woke up on a battleship one time. There's a lot of sleeping on old boats in Boy Scouts. I've slept on some sailboats before. That might be the weirdest, to wake up on like a 20-foot long boat in a lake. Or like, man, that's a tough one because I'm unfortunately a little boring, and I've never woken up in a place that I didn't expect to wake up. That like I definitely didn't like decidedly like sit down and decide that I was gonna sleep there. But kind of like on a beach on Catalina Island was pretty weird. It mainly Boy Scouts go sleep in weird places is kind
True.
of like the point of that, I think.
So when I was in the Boy Scouts, I woke up in my Scoutmaster's bed once. I found that pretty weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how you get from star to life rank.
That was awkward. Were you ever a Boy Scout punk rock, Ryan?
No, I was not, but
Lucky
my
for you.
stepson was.
Okay.
I didn't really wake up in his bed. I made that up as a joke.
That's not how you get from star to life rank.
Yeah.
just to clarify.
To clarify.
Leave it up to Eric.
Kayla, where have you woken up?
I feel like I don't have any place that's necessarily too exciting or different, but I do have a skill where I can fall asleep very quickly anywhere. So like I've been on a plane and then been asleep before the plane took off and then wake up and it's like, oh, we're there, and it was a 6-hour flight. So I mean, I have done that,
That's a
but
superpower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
it-
exactly what I was gonna say.
so it's I'm good at sleeping, but I don't have any exotic locations.
That's
Nothing,
okay.
nothing to do with Boy Scouts because everyone else seems to have a
No.
story about waking up with Boy Scouts.
No, unfortunately, I had to break that tradition there.
You're out of the band. Cut.
Okay, bye. Logging off.
It's probably an unwise decision, but
All right, the
I
last one.
think you just admitted to being part of the Mile High Club when it comes to naps.
I mean,
that how
I
that
haven't
works?
heard that called that, but sure.
Kind of, sorta. I mean,
The-
it sounds fun. I don't know.
yeah.
Sleeping is fun. I think so. If you could live anywhere else in the world, where would it be?
A clarifying question. Do I have to work there?
Not necessarily. Maybe you're
Okay,
rich.
it's
you can
Japan.
just do
It's
whatever you-
instantly Japan. If I don't have to work, I will live in Japan. If I have to work, I will not live in Japan. Japanese work culture is not for me.
So what
But
if you
I
had to
was-
work? What would you?
What if I had to
would-
work? I
Yeah.
would move to Belgium.
ooh,
Yeah, Belgium's sick. I mean, pretty much anywhere in Europe really kind of takes it, but Belgium because there's so many languages.
Have you been to both places?
I haven't been to Belgium yet, surprisingly. I've been to Japan, but I'm going to Europe later eventually.
Nice.
I'm just, what can I say?
Go
ahead,
I'm
Ryan.
thinking. I'm
No, it's
thinking.
okay.
Okay.
No, it's great. I'll just carry this, you guys. You can.
Oh yeah, keep talking.
Okay,
Thomas.
okay. I have answer. Growing up, I always wanted to move to LA because I wanted to work in music. And I don't know, now that seems a little crazy. And I'm also dedicated to San Jose. I feel like the more places I've visited, the more I've realized how much I love San Jose. And it's like the underrated city compared to San Francisco. And a few of us will go to battle of just like rights and recognition for San Jose. We need to bring back the San Jose Electric Light Tower.
Okay.
We can talk about that for a while, but that's
we need a
don't have
symbol.
enough time to cover the San Jose Electric Light Tower. Kayla's gonna be upset at me because, like, one, I'm currently living in LA and I wouldn't pick it as my dream location. It's cool. There's so much music, but it's like the biggest mixed bag on earth. It's the worst traffic, and and I live near UCLA, so it's kind of like a bunch of people with a ton of money, and which is weird, and but it's also the best food and it's the best music, and but I wouldn't choose it as my dream, I don't think, because I'm here and it doesn't feel dreamy. Um I hate to say, I don't know if I have like idyllic final location that I will go once I become a multimillionaire playing trombone. That Kayla's gonna be a little upset. I really like San Francisco. Man, I like San Jose. I lived in San Jose for a long time. San Francisco is kind of a vibe. It would be, again, a nice place to live if you didn't have to work, because if you're a musician, you're taking gigs outside of the city, and so you need a car. And so driving in San Francisco is a nightmare. But if you don't need a car and you don't need to go work somewhere all the time, it seems like it would be kind of a vibe to go to one of the quieter neighborhoods and just kind of chill there.
Did you all grow up in the San Jose area?
More or less, yeah.
I grew up in the mountains, actually, in Northern California. I grew up in Lake Tahoe,
That's right.
in the mountains on the California-Nevada border. But then we all went. I moved down to San Jose and did some college there. So that's where I met these cats.
Awesome.
I'm like 5th generation San Jose.
I'm just north of San Jose, a little northeast from there, but Well, I was anyway.
You're a lot north now.
Yeah, I'm a lot
Thomas.
more north. I'm almost Canadian north.
Ooh.
So were you guys being that centrally located and everything, any of you hit very hard by the fires?
I am approximately with the LA things, my apartment is like 3 blocks from one of the evacuation zones.
Wow.
When that was going on, the Palisades fire is on the west side of LA, um, kind of near like Malibu and all that. And I live kind of over there because that's where UCLA is. I'm currently getting a master's degree from UCLA, so that's what I'm doing over in that realm. Um, and we never had to evacuate here, but there were some incredibly sleepless nights of with the phone like next to my pillow of like, okay, well, I need to sleep because I am have classes tomorrow morning that I need to be awake for, but I also need to be ready to get out of here as fast as possible. So yeah, it was a little scary for a while. And but we got last week we got a ton of rain, which is huge because that doesn't happen very much. But we got like, well, I say a ton of rain, a lot for down here. It actually rained for like a day and a half, not just like sprinkling, which was for us is like epic amounts of rain. So we're a little bit safer at the moment, which is great.
That's good to hear.
So looking at your love for music, I guess I'm going to assume that you enjoy music at this point in time. What was the that first album that brought you into a love of music? What did you play that like you were like, this is my thing. I'm gonna, I don't know, put stickers on my stuff, and music is what I want to do.
I can say for me, easy. It was Kelly Clarkson's first album. Um, I was 6 years old, and my parents let me stay up to watch American Idol. I had to hide under a blanket whenever my little brother like came out because I like wasn't supposed to stay up, and he would get mad that I got to stay up and he didn't. Um, but yeah, I she made me want to be a singer, and I'd run around the house screaming a moment like this. No good. It was awful, so bad. Um, but yeah, ever since then, I was like, oh my god, I have to do music. And then there was a long period of time where I'm like, no, I suck. I'm never gonna sing. And then these guys encouraged me to give it a shot in college. But yeah, Kelly Clarkson was the very first, the OG for me. That I'm like, this, wow. And then there were different phases throughout, but that was the very first, Baby Kayla.
I'll jump in with the album thing. I mean, you know, we kind of grew up from the I'm Kayla and I are around the same age, and Thomas is a little older than us, but we kind of both grew up in kind of the CDs transitioning to iTunes era.
Okay.
Um, and the kind of the biggest album for me that there's a lot that I've listened to, you know, but it really comes down to like thinking about the albums that my parents put on in the car during a road trip. And the things that have stuck with me today, and I think one of the biggest ones, you know, which is, you know, another kind of Bay Area shout out is Tower of Power's self-titled album. Um, and again, they're very, you know, funk horn band, super kind of old school sound, but like they're one of those albums that I've realized has kind of stuck with me, and that like I come back to it every once in a while, like, oh yeah, this is still great. And it's very easy to kind of dismiss your parents' music tastes of like, ah, whatever. Um, but that was one of those albums that, you know, as a trombonist and as a horn player, it's very fun to hear that. And I've definitely been very into funk for a long time, and it just continues to be an incredible album.
Uh, there are two answers for me for this one. So the first album that got me into music, because before it was only whatever my parents played. Then I entered middle school, and this can be very funny. Linkin Park's Meteora got me into music that wasn't what my parents listened to, right?
Sure.
And that one was really that one. I don't know. I was an edgy eighth grader, you know. How could I not enjoy Linkin Park? Um, but this is going to be a very odd question or a very weird answer. It's not an album, but you know Saturday Night Live. You know how the band starts every show? I
Yeah.
played saxophone and I was enamored with the sound of that band every night. Because my parents always watched Saturday Night Live, so I always got to hear the intro. I found out later in my life that saxophone player's name is Lenny Pickett, and I like him a lot. He's a very, very good saxophone player. But I didn't know it at the time, is that Lenny Pickett would influence the way I hear saxophone in my ears so much because of just always listening to that. He was like that was like my main source of hearing a saxophone in my ear before I knew that I could search things online. And when I was discovering the sounds, it was before I had easy access to the internet as we know it today. I remember dial up. I mean, I'm talking to you guys. I'm sure we all remember dial up here, right? Right?
Yep.
With the AOL chat rooms, I remember those things. Yeah.
For me, it was Club Penguin. I had to, like my mom's like, "Get off Club Penguin! I gotta use the phone."
Things have never been the same since they shut down Club Penguin, but you know.
Devastating loss, honestly.
Eric, I'm gonna jump in and interrupt you for 1 minute because I feel
No.
like it's here. We had a fan question from Eric, not this Eric, your Eric that you know so well. I feel like you all just answered his question, but he had a little add-on to it. So he asked who some of your musical influences were outside of ska, and I feel like every one of you just touched on that, right? And he also wanted to know how that has played into your songwriting.
Ooh.
Well, I know for me, so I have a lot of pop music I love, and that's an influence. But middle school and on, I was very much so an emo kid. So emo pop punk. In college, I had a college radio show that was all emo pop punk, and then some indie pop music. So I think Pete Wentz, Fall Out Boy is a big influence there. Some of my other favorite bands are The Maine. I was looking back at like stuff I listened to in high school. I feel like Neon Trees, not emo or pop punk, but like I feel like that kind of pop rock was a big influence just for how I write and come up with melodies. Um, but lyrically, I always loved hyper specific storytelling and references. So, you know, Taylor Swift is kind of the master of that in accessible pop music. So, and then John Bellion. But, it always comes back to John.
I don't know who John Bellion is. I've never heard of that one before.
You literally have. He's literally done so many songs. He's like a big producer for other people too. But I will tag Ryan in. That's a little about me.
Oh boy. Another kind of hyper specific lyric songwriting, which of course they're being produced by John Bellion right now, is the band Lawrence. Where they're like a sibling duo that does the kind of pop soul thing, and they're both disturbingly talented. And
Disturbingly.
like their biggest like writing influence is Seinfeld. So that's the kind of a fun influence. But for me, I am my in terms of what I do in my day to day is very kind of by the books, like quote unquote, like proper music, big heavy air quotes. I am currently getting a master's degree in trombone performance. And this is like symphonic trombone performance. And so I go in and we're playing Mahler's Sixth Symphony, soon and stuff like that. But kind of my listenings have been all over the place for a very long time. And I've been very open about the fact that I'm not the biggest ska listener, and I do love ska and I do listen to ska, but it's not always the thing that I gravitate towards, which I think when it comes to like arranging horns, so Vince, trumpet player in the group, and also my roommate here, and I basically do the majority of the horn arranging for the charts in the band. And I feel like we're more, almost to a fault, classically influenced in the way that we arrange. We write out proper charts and, with proper sheet music and everything, and which is like, I feel like the standard like ska thing is like unison lines, which is super tight and super punchy, and it's just a little bit cleaner. And what we do tends to be a little more complex, but if you can pull it off, it's really cool, but it's kind of difficult to pull off. And so I feel like we put a lot of work into that, and my own writing has kind of changed a little bit as a result, and that like the tune from the record, "You May Be Entitled to Compensation," is the horn parts are mostly unison, and I did that specifically because I wanted something that wasn't really complicated. And then we did "Sing You to Sleep," the last track on the record, which Vince multi-tracked like 12 horn parts in, and there's just like very symphonic orchestral thing. And so we let it sneak in, and because it works in some contexts, but I'm also kind of learning the best ways to do that and have it in a way that doesn't feel overly complicated when, we're just having fun.
I don't do
How did you-
anything. I just play saxophone.
That's
Fair.
not true.
How did you guys all get together? Tell us a little bit of the history of the band.
Okay, I could take this because it's kind of my fault.
All right.
Um, so we were all in the San Jose State marching band together. And so I was at San Jose State and I was, doing music and all that. And I have a friend who's the drummer of our band, Alex Quick. And I I had been in rock bands through before my time at San Jose State, and I've been in, a couple, and I was, they influenced me. And there was this one specific class that I took when I was at Ohlone College. It was called the Jazz Rock Combo class, and it was a college class where you just got to be in a band and play music that we would know, as opposed to most college level music experiences, Mahler six, right? Or you're
Yeah.
playing various classical things. So that band in that class influenced me a lot. So then we went to San Jose State marching band. We're all in it at the same time. I come up with this idea of creating the San Jose State Ska Ensemble, because in my mind I had to come up with a educational thing so people wouldn't yell at me at the university. I'm like, oh, we're just, and so I was like, okay, everyone come by after. I put up little flyers around the music building, like, come by Fridays at like 6 or whatever and come play ska music. And I was like, I kind of just pulled everyone into a room, said, hey, we're gonna play this song. I found these charts online because I'm really bad at writing. Let's play. And I kind of just brought people in, and over the course of like a year we grew to, like, I don't know, it was like 20 people in that room, sometimes maybe
Wow.
more. It was nuts. And we all had a good time playing a bit. And then from there, I think, Kayla, you can kind of take over, but that was kind of where the core group kind of evolved from, right?
Yeah, and fun fact, every member of our band plays some sort of horn, because we all played horns in marching band. I originally started as not the singer. I was the rhythm guitarist, but actually rhythm electric ukulele.
She
Really?
sent me she sent me like an audition video. She's like, "Hey, can I play
I was the only one who
ukulele?"
auditioned.
And I was like, electric ukulele, and she sent me a video. I'm like, yeah, please, you have to be here. It's required for you to come in with your electric ukulele.
Do you still play it in the band?
Not really. Every once in a while, a song will call for some ukulele, but
Honestly, you should. I think we experiment more with the effects pedals, and it could be pretty rad.
There is a
Yeah.
ska band that plays the ukulele that I love. They're called the What Nows. It adds
okay.
so much to it.
It is fun. I do love my little Yuki, but I remember before Thomas knew it was electric, because he was like asking around the band. He's like, "Hey, is there anyone play guitar so we just need an extra guitarist?" And I was like, Thomas, no, but I can play ukulele. And he was like, yeah, that's cute, Kayla. And I'm like, it's electric. And he's like, oh, okay, fine, sure.
They're like, yeah, send it.
We got a friend that goes by the ukulele punk, Justin Mueller. Played at Splish Splash Bash. There's nothing wrong with playing ukulele into a show. I saw Horn Fiddle last year. That was pretty.
Nobody said it was wrong, right?
From Detroit. Ukulele punk out of Detroit.
Lippies. Do you remember the Lippies?
What?
Do you remember the band the Lippies? No, she would play the ukulele. I'm getting off track. Okay, go on, guys. I'm sorry.
You're older than us. I mean, that's not what I meant, but I did.
The Lippies are not from like 1962. They are a more recent band.
Oh, well, whatever.
Check them out. Check them out.
I will.
So I feel like in this story, there might be a story behind the band's name. Like a bunch of college kids packed into a room, forcing each other to play music. Where voluntary hazing come from?
You're so much closer than you think.
That's actually it's uncanny how
it's well, so we were the ska ensemble, right? And then we were getting to a point where we're like, hey, we want to do more than just gigs around the school campus. Let's make this a real thing. And that was because Ryan had a recording project for audio production class, and we did a cover of Panic at the Disco, I Write Sins Not Tragedies. And it was like, hey, we have this recording, let's put it out, but let's not put it out under the name the SJSU Ska Ensemble. They probably do not want this associated with the school. And let's try this for real. And then I came up with voluntary hazing and kind of instantly regretted it because I'm like, maybe that's a little too much, but it was voted into being. And where that comes from, do you guys want to tell the story?
Ryan, do you want this one?
I can
tell it if you don't.
No, I don't think I have to watch my words too well because all of the details are pretty well documented at this point. San Jose State. The San Jose State Spartan Marching Band had a tradition for a long time, where outside of the stadium, I don't know what it's called these days. It was Spartan Stadium, and then it was the corporate sponsor, SEFQ Stadium, and who knows whether it's still that or something, something else now. But there's outside of the stadium near where the marching band would enter the stadium to play, and before they would do the pregame show, they would all run out, and they, back in the day, there's the Spartans, so they had shields, which were movie props from the movie 300 that they got a hold of somehow, and it'd be the thing. But it was a thing for a long time that before the first game of the season, there was an optional thing where the first year of people in the band would go into this row of porta potties outside of the stadium and all play the San Jose State fight song from inside the porta potties. Again, this is something that's it is kind of a classic hazing thing, but it had long since been established of if you don't want to do this is a stupid thing. If you don't want to do this, just don't do it, and no one's gonna ever be mad at you.
On that point, I remember my first year, someone did come up to me and said, hey, you want to go play the porta potty fight song? And I was like, no. And they're like, okay. And they moved on. And that was it.
and so
Ryan and I did it.
Yeah, so we did it. It's weird playing a trombone, a very long instrument in a very small space when there's 3 or 4 other band members in it. And it's impressive that things work because you can't see each other. We got to stay in time somehow, and we, figured it out. But, and this is something that there were videos of it on YouTube from 15 years ago. And it just became a thing that someone within the university administration decided that this is not an okay thing that you guys should be doing. And there was a lot of drama around it that I'm not going to get into, but long story short, they don't do it anymore. And we did the recording in kind of the aftermath of that whole situation. And someone, and I forget whether it was Kayla or someone else,
because I regret
Kayla came up with the name Voluntary Hazing, and it was it would be a crime to not form a band with this. Like, you ever come up with a band name so good that you have to make a band no matter what to use the name? That was the sort of thing. And so honestly, in a way, Kayla, this is all your fault. Like,
It
we
is.
might not exist if you didn't come up with a good name.
Well, thank you.
I
Kayla.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I was like, it could be Voluntary Hazing or the Scholars, which I now know is a different band, but everyone's like,
Wasn't
no,
that
we're
like
not.
was that a Detroit band?
I don't know where they're
Muted.
from.
Eric, you're
but
muted. Yeah, wasn't that Telegraph?
Or
Yes,
like-
it was. I'm unmuted now. Yes, it was.
So we couldn't have used that name anyways, but it was
Sure.
voted. It was voted down.
It is a
And
good name, though.
yeah,
He's our elder that we use for ska references that are past our time.
Were you making fun of me again, Rand?
No, of course not. I would never.
That wasn't nice.
No, but anyways, so you guys are talking about all these different references. Kelly Clarkson, the sax player from SNL, symphony, trombone. Like, why ska? Why did you guys decide to play ska?
I mean,
That's Thomas's
Thomas.
fault.
Yeah, it was really.
It's
mean-
my fault, right? I chose ska because as a horn player, I didn't really have many options to play music, right? To be in a band, it was kind of like, oh, you're gonna play jazz, you're gonna play classical. Oh, you want to play with electric guitars? Oh, you have to play like ska or like something or like funk, but like I don't know. It was the most fun choice, and I chose ska because I thought at that time when we were all starting out in the marching band and I was starting it, it's something I knew a lot about. But I mean, for me personally, my personal journey of why ska, it's fun. It's just good time. It's a genre of music that can show how good you are without taking yourself seriously, which is very important to me because I think music should be fun, and if you're too self-centered or like too like involved in the music, it kind of loses its meaning. I'm looking at you, Jazz. So, just
Yeah, I mean, that's like hugely important for us because I think a huge part of our identity is we're gonna have fun and we're gonna be silly, but we're gonna make it good, And I think we have the flexibility. It's very fun when you go to a rehearsal and you're trying to figure out what to play for the next gig and you do something as a joke and you're like, wait, we're allowed to do this. No one is stopping us from doing this. And then you put the work in and you make it sound really good. We were just talking the other day. We did a gig where we covered Can't Stop by Red Hot Chili Peppers. Now, it was the fifth or sixth song on the program. And so the beginning of every song, we started playing the intro. The da 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 da, and we play it for a while, and then instantly just snap into whatever other song that we wanted to play. And we did this 4 or 5 times. Just every single song we'd start it the same way. So by the time that we actually played Can't Stop after the intro, people went nuts. Like it's such a silly thing and it's such a stupid thing, but the fact that we have the freedom to sit down and say, like, no one is going to be mad at us if we do something a little kind of tongue-in-cheek because we're going to put in the effort to make it sound good, and kind of that the ska scene is incredibly welcoming in a lot of ways, and I think that's one of them, is the ability to look at something that's not like by the book serious or like textbook, like, the definition of what constitutes a ska band is a little bit looser than other genres. People aren't quite arguing about it
Not
as
so
much
many
as
gatekeepers out there.
Ryan, there are a lot.
Yeah, I suppose, but I feel like we don't play as much ska as other bands, and we have been very welcomed within the ska scene. Like, we have a lot of straight up and down ska charts, but we have some that aren't at all. That we just decided this is what we want to do, and so we recorded it, and then everyone loved it, and so I think there is, at least, within the scene, the part of the scene that we exist in, there exists a lot of kind of freedom for us to do whatever we want, and I think that's really, really cool.
Well, obviously a lot of overlap too with ska and punk, right? I don't have to tell you guys this, but I think we exist kind of in that in between. And for me personally, I got into ska because of pop punk in high school. Because I was really into all these pop punk bands. I was always like, okay, who's on Warped Tour this year? Who's doing Warped? And I would like religiously follow that because I was really obsessed with the band All Star Weekend, which is how I first got interested in Warped Tour. And then it was very controversial that they were on Warped Tour because they were more pop than anything. What a time, 2013. But so that, but like, I like them, and I'm like, okay, well, who else? I love them. So what other bands are playing? And then being a band kid, I played clarinet and saxophone, and I hear Less Than Jake for the first time. And I'm like, whoa, this is really cool. It's blending all these different things I like, and kind of a whole new world. And then kind of going back to where Thomas was saying, you know, I, there's horns in this. This is awesome. And then for me, it was really important to learning just the history of ska and the meaning and, you know, how people were standing up for equality and like, nah, we're all the same. There's so much love in it. There always has been in the scene now. It's just such a welcoming place, where people, really treat each other with respect. So I think that's really important to me and to us too.
And to us
So
as well, we see that in this community. Like the ska community is like no other community.
Yeah,
Been in the
absolutely.
punk scene for a long time, but there's something different about the ska family.
we say it like what, like
Every episode.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I think that's why we're here, to be honest with you.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, we love the music, yes, of course, but we feel like we're at home with these people because they accept us for who we are, and it's like one big family.
100%. Agreed.
So do any of you guys feel like that scene has changed you at all as a person? I mean, you coming out of college, you're still kind of influenceable, right? Jumping into, making music with some of your bandmates and stuff like that. You guys feel like you've learned and kind of grown as you've been going on this venture after being voluntarily hazed?
Absolutely. I think, and Thomas has talked about this a little bit, the why he chose, ska of all genres is a way to get band kids, and he's talked about this in other, situations of he wanted to get all of us nerds out the school, and to go to like real shows and like real kind of gigs at bars and stuff, and like there's so much fun, and again, when I'm spending the majority of my time like in a practice room or like going to play a symphony concert, and that's just like a completely different vibe. I love it, which is why I'm doing it. But like we played a handful of gigs that are just like kind of fast and loose, and at the end of it we say, well, that wasn't perfect, but we had so much fun. And the crowd vibes are different, and we've played so many weird little gigs in weird little venues, and that is just so cool to me because yeah, like Thomas wants us to. He's kicking us out into the world and seeing things that aren't the inside of a practice room. All the practice rooms in UCLA are in the basement. There are no windows. Like sometimes you just got to go outside and being, a part of the ska scene allows, us to kind of do that in a really fun way.
I think for me, it's really taught me just how real a community can be and how powerful it can be and like how meaningful it is to be part of that. Just by like one, making friends with people who also go to shows, making friends with other bands. We and these weren't even ska bands, but we became really good friends with a bunch of bands up in Portland, because it was me, Ryan, and Alex. We went to a house show where our friends in Ghosting were playing, and Ghosting very cool band to check out. They're like Midwest emo, but with ska influence. So they sometimes have a little bit of ska and they have the horns in there. Definitely harder and more emo than we are, but super cool and we love those guys. But Ryan and Alex and I showed up with our horns and they wanted us to jump on a song to bulk up their horn section. So we literally played one song, and then one of the other bands at the house party was Bug Seance, who is more of a shoegaze post-hardcore band from Portland. And then so they're like, you guys were so much fun just hopping on that one song. Next time we come through, we want to play with you. And so then they came and played with us and we made sure to take care of them. And they're like, they started sending their friends. So all of a sudden Simple Shapes is coming and Non-Binary Girlfriend's coming and all these bands, Heaven's Gate. We've done a lot of shows with them. We love them. They're like a country punk skate band comedy. They're super fun. But all of a sudden, we have all these bands coming through, and we make sure we take care of them. And then they're like, "Okay, now you come up to Portland. We're gonna put you guys up. We're gonna set up shows. We're gonna do all these things." And then they tell their friends, and it's just people really look out for each other, and especially like other bands with women in them, other queer bands. Like we've really connected with those bands, and it's just there's a lot of unity. And then ska bands. Like we are friends with Joker's Republic in New Jersey.
Love Joker's Republic.
They are
love them
they're
much.
so sweet
Yeah.
and so talented. We love them.
Yeah.
And they've been like, you guys come out here, we'll take care of you. Because we played a show with them when they came out
Come
here.
out.
Yeah, we're hoping to eventually. But it just the fact that you can make those connections with people, and that generally these people are also aligned and think the same way in terms of community and politics, and you feel less alone. And it, to me, just discovering that world and like really being a part of it, because it's one thing to be a fan of these bigger, more famous bands and everyone's into that, but being a part of like the local community and even across the country, different other local communities, that independent music, that's just been the coolest thing. And I think that's definitely helped me grow and realize how much you can do as a person. Like all these little things add up.
And just to jump to one thing with that, I feel like it's such a common thing in any sort of art field of like people want to be famous, they want to be known, they want to we get hooked in with social media and we want big numbers, and because that's how we're going to bring in the streaming revenue, and like at a certain point, yeah, and at a certain point people are trying to make a living out of it, which is an interesting decision, but some people make it work. But it's incredibly, it's important to remember that like the place that we're at now is so cool. It doesn't matter whatever number it is that we have on social media or how many polls that one video got, or that helps us in a little bit, and that it helps us give some opportunities. But we've had so much fun just by going to gigs and meeting people and playing at gigs and getting to know the other bands. And I think that community aspect, like Kayla was talking about, is like, the most fulfilling part of the whole thing.
And I'm going to jump in real quick. Sorry to ramble, yap. But I think even just being here with you guys is a great example of that. Like the fact that people in other parts of the country are listening to our band and care about it and want to talk to us. And Jess, when you ranked us in your top albums, like I was tearing up. Like that's crazy to me that can happen. So just from the bottom of our hearts, thank you guys for being here to talk with us. And
yeah, thank you
share
for
this
putting
with
out that
us.
music, because that's a great album.
Thank you so
And
much.
I think Ryan said something about it in our chat the other day that I was like, I didn't think of it that way, but he was so on point. Do you remember what you said?
Oh, I say a lot of things.
Yeah, well, it's that album you could just put on and just play over and over and over again in the background and not get sick of it. Like
yeah, and it's just gonna be a good day,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can just chill and listen to it. That same song came on for like the 7th time. You're still just kind of bopping your head, like, all
Find
right.
yourself singing along in the car. Singing along is so
Yep,
much
no
fun, and I
problem.
can't sing for shit, but it's still fun. Like,
That's
I-
it.
It's hard to put into words how much that means. Seriously, thank you so much.
thank you.
Yeah, I feel like you guys kind of hit on a lot of things that I've learned, like since joining, the Michigan Ska crew and everything along those lines. I mentioned it before. There's no scene where I grew up at. I grew up around a bluegrass festival. I drive 2 hours to go to my shows because that's where my tribe is at. But it's kind of helped me realize that I'm a part of a lot of different communities. Same aspect. I might trust my grandma to bake me a cake, but I wouldn't trust her to roof my house. It's easier to compartmentalize those different aspects of my life. But this is where I feel like I'm at home. Is when I'm with this crowd, at a show and we're down the pit and I run into Eric and we're hugging, even though we've never seen each other before. Sorry, not you, brother. I'm talking about Ayla. But it's just I never met the guy before, and it's just like, I'm so glad I got to see you, that we're here tonight. We're having such a good time. This is so amazing, and this is why life is worth living. It's this moment right here. But I go back home and I'm still part of a community, and I still want to be, I feel more comfortable being myself in those people that I wasn't so comfortable being myself around before, if that makes any sense. I know that I'm welcomed here, that these people got my back, but you know what? It doesn't matter if you do or not, because I know where my people are at. I can get a hold of them whenever, and and it's just, yeah, that's what I've taken out of ska and being part of this scene, this community, and everything along those lines. So yeah, thank you guys for sharing what you shared.
How far have you guys ventured away from your hometown? What's the farthest you've toured?
I guess LA, Fullerton specifically.
Orange County, which is, south of LA a bit. So, I mean, is an hour from where I'm currently living, so it's not that exciting for me, but they all had to drive down.
Could you believe that the logistics of getting a 13-piece
Yeah.
ska band places is hard?
No, it's
No
pretty
way.
easy.
Isn't that
You just
wild?
you just get one big car and you push really hard, and then everyone
Uh-huh.
fits.
Yeah.
No, but trying to figure out schedules and getting places, and I know you all have real jobs and other things in life besides ska. I mean, how dare you?
I will tell you. So this summer I'm working on getting us up to the Pacific Northwest. And
Okay.
we have gotten an offer at this point to come to the East Coast. So we're hoping 2026. Well, a lot can change and happen in that time, so we'll see. But we're aiming. Honestly, the dream is, I don't ever expect to become rich and famous off of this, but to be able to do these sponsored trips and just see more of the world and be part of the larger community, like that literally is a dream come true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can totally see you guys vibing with Catbite and playing shows with Catbite. Do you
They're
like them?
so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my god. We
I
saw
like
them
that.
play in San Francisco.
Okay.
Thomas, me, and Alex went and saw them, and We Are the Union.
Yeah.
And Kill Lincoln. And
That was a great show.
that was
great
a
show.
stacked show. It was
Speaking
Yeah,
of
it was
Kill
stacked as right.
You know what? Go ahead, Jess. Bring it up right now.
Speaking of, I mean, it's Ryan's segment, but
Let's just segue.
one of the Kill Lincoln members messaged me about the interview tonight to share his favorite song, and it was one that Ryan actually chose for our next segment. So I'll let him take this away.
Go, Ryan.
It was the perfect song to fit, and why in a ska band? I think we kind of already talked about some of it, but
Yeah.
song is so much fun, and I don't know. I want to know who wrote it, and tell me what you're thinking about it.
And I'll tell you, it was Drew that messaged me, and he said, I love this song so much, it needs to be an anthem. Like, that's
oh my god. That's crazy.
I wanted to share that.
Wow. Well, thank you.
Sure.
That was the first song we ever wrote as a band. on stage. Rhythm section sounds alright. Hey, is that a new bass player tonight? I wanna thank you for being here tonight. 5 minutes ago, this asshole looked me in the eye. He asked me why you in a ska band. Your friend's got talent. You should be doing something different. I told him, no, we ain't selling now. This is the fourth way, and you're not too late to get your ass on the bandwagon now. I'm gonna make my mama so damn proud. $12,000 in debt, and I'm having tons of regret. Parents paid for clarinet, still haven't told them about my audition yet. Got tagged in 56 memes about mozzarella sticks and being 13. We wrote this song the other day to finally give our real big fish covers a break. I wanna thank you for being here tonight. 6 minutes ago, this asshole looked me in the eye. He asked me why you in a ska band. Your friend's got talent. You should be doing something different. No, we ain't selling now. This is the fourth way, and you're not too late to get your ass on the bandwagon now. I'm gonna make my mama so damn proud. Get your ass on the bandwagon now. I'm gonna make my mama so damn proud. And it was because I was too scared to share my feelings at that point. So I'm like, let's write a song about ska. So it's not like a I was like, I'm not ready to talk about anything else. Let's write we're still getting used to writing with each other. This was the first thing we ever did. And it was me, our drummer Alex, and our guitarist Gabe in the lounge of our college radio station, KSJS, shout out 90.5. And yeah, we are just like, every ska band needs a song about ska, right? Like, let's start there and see what happens. And a lot of it is true that, I had a friend who came to a gig and he's like, your horns sound great. They suck at dancing. What are they doing up there? That was awkward. So, that was a real comment. I've had a lot of people come up to us and be like, why are you playing ska? Like, you guys should be doing other things. Like, it's very literal. Yes, we did get sent the mozzarella sticks meme 1,000,000 times, so that had to make it in because it's like, okay, you want to be nice when people who are like aren't into ska, they're like, they send it you, they're like, oh, it reminded me of you, and it's like, that's so sweet, but also I can't look at this meme anymore, So, it was all those experiences and putting them in a song, and we're like, can we write a song? Let's try this. That was our first one.
Yeah, and the hook, the horn lick that goes over it, if you're well versed in classical music, it is in fact the bassoon intro to Stravinsky's Rite of Spring. Vince, the trumpet player, did do the arrangement for that one. Again, it's the classic, like, you've got a bunch of band nerds sitting in a room playing in a ska band. What are they gonna quote as they're playing? They're probably gonna find some classical thing and find a stupid way to like jam it into the song, and every once in a while it works really well, and so that just kind of became the thing. That da 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 is was written by Igor Stravinsky back in 1910, 1911, whatever. It's all music, it's all notes. It works really well. It's very funny to us, but a very important thing to us that has kind of stayed a through thread throughout when we're writing stuff is we can find, if we find something funny, we're allowed to put it in a track, but only if it works if you don't get the reference. So like if you don't know classical music, you're not going to get the reference, but does it still sound good? It probably still sounds good. And so a whole lot of our writing experience has been circled around like, okay, this is funny, but we need to make sure that it actually works before putting it out to the world.
In that one also, you know, I made sure we looked in like, okay, this is public domain music now. We can put that into our song.
Oh yeah, he died a while ago.
Yeah, just a little while ago.
What I like about it is a lot of those questions is the answer. Like, why are you doing this? There's 40 people on stage skanking. It's like, yeah, there's 40 people on stage skanking. Why
Looks pretty fun, doesn't it?
Do this?
I was so happy to see that. That was my dream come true.
One
And
of
the
my
horn section,
favorite-
the horn section, just quickly, the horn section has gotten a little better at dancing. We're not good, but we're this much better. It's taken us 5 years to get a little better at dancing, so we're getting there.
Just going back real quick. Oh, sorry.
One of the best choreographed horn sections I've seen is My Son the Hurricane.
Idea? Oh,
no, My Son the Hurricane, not Famous Idea. They're like 7 pieces, and they're all moving in unison as they're playing. They've got a pyramid that they get on during their set. No, you know I love Famous Idea.
It's Famous Idea, Jess. Just so you know,
so much fun.
Famous Idea.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Do you guys know Famous Idea?
No, I'm gonna have to look it up.
A lot of fun. They're from the UK.
Okay.
Great band.
Famous Idea.
If Rage Against the Machine was a ska band,
that's them.
That's them.
No, don't even say that.
No, not Rage.
Insulting.
They're very street punk ska. So Rage is not really street punk.
If the Clash was still around today,
yeah, there you go.
It would be Famous Idea.
Okay. Very cool.
But anyways, go ahead and talk about whatever you're saying, right? I'm sorry.
Oh, we're doing Brain on Ska. We have more songs.
Thanks for just butting in, Eric.
Kayla, you had a thing. What were you?
Oh,
I've interrupted you a couple times.
Sorry, just talking about like 40 people skanking. Actually, one of my favorite memories of this band is when we were playing at the Los Altos first Friday, just free playing out on the street. There was like a row of 12 6-year-olds that, you know, the parents just brought them there and kind of were like, go watch this band, whatever, you know, they're tired. The kids, it's Friday, they're like, kids, go have fun. Literally 6-year-olds, they stand in a line and they start skanking with us. And they're like in unison, they're doing it perfectly with each other. It was the coolest thing in my life. They made us feel like rock stars. There was never a crowd that was more into a show than that flurry of small children. It was the coolest thing ever.
Ska's for the children.
We are definitely going to talk about children. I don't want to interrupt your segment, Ryan, and like go off track, but we're going to bring that up again.
Yeah, that's what we always do. We always
talk about children. I have a 8 going on 9-year-old that loves ska and punk, and he loves going to shows, and we always try to talk about the kids at the end.
Yeah.
So we'll roll back around to that.
Okay, sweet.
That's a cool story.
For the children.
For the children.
So I had an opportunity at the perfect segue for the next song when Eric chimed in. Very unannounced. It'd be disappointment. You guys' is single from the last album.
I'm not mad. I'm just.
First things first, let's set the record straight. I wholeheartedly believe that you don't owe me anything at all, but that still doesn't change You shook my hand and we locked eyes, and you didn't leave my side for the rest of the night. Guess you'll be my next disappointment. Things were good, but now you're avoiding me. I'm not looking for perpetual indecision. I thought that you were special, yeah, I thought you were different. Guess you'll be my next disappointment, so enjoy it, it's annoying. Deception. You won't text back, but is it ghosting me? If you're still watching every Instagram story, guess you'll be my next disappointment. Things are good, but now you're avoiding me. I'm not looking for perpetual indecision. I thought that you were special, yeah, I thought you were different. Guess you'll be my next disappointment, so enjoy it. It's annoying. You're so damn disappointing. Guess you'll be my next disappointment. Things are good, but now you're avoiding me. I'm not looking for perpetual indecision. I thought that you were special, yeah, I thought you were different. Guess you'll be my next disappointment, so enjoy it. Guess you'll be my next disappointment, so enjoy it. You'll be my next disappointment. Go enjoy it. You're annoying.
So you'll be my next disappointment.
Hey, you're gonna sing?
Hey, that sounds gain vocals. Everyone's singing disappointment. It's a collaborative effort.
Awesome.
You're in, Ryan. We're not punting this to me. Everyone's in.
I'll be one of the 40 on stage with you. I don't mind.
Perfect.
No, so tell us a little bit about that one. Why did you guys choose that one as your single? I mean, it's a great song, obviously. I mean, that's a given. But was there some special meaning behind it, or?
There's definitely a story behind the song. It's more than anything just men being disappointing. But just straightforward as that. But we chose it as a single just because we felt it was stylistically a little bit different for us. Because we had put out, not necessarily, we knew it was going to be part of an album, but we weren't promoting the album at that point. Like Skemsko was already out, Reciprocate Some was already out, and we're like, okay, Disappointment's a little more pop, it's a little more mid-tempo, it kind of has a little more indie guitar feel. And we thought just the shouting sing along was kind of fun and different. So we were like, let's give the people something different. Try to show like we have a little bit of range. Because what did we almost do as a single, Ryan? I know we
thought about doing Pretty Boys, but it's 5 minutes. It ended up being 5 minutes long, which is not great for that. That changed tack a little bit. It's kind of long.
To Reciprocate.
and
closer.
it's a similar tempo and similar chords to reciprocate, and so it would have been like, here's the same song but longer. um it is very different. It's more rock and roll than ska, if anything, but it was just something that we wanted to put out something. And I remember us talking about putting out 3 years, but we knew that was going to be the opener for the album, so we kind of wanted to save that to be the punchy start and not kind of show our hand until that happened.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, Disappointment is just a good song. It's a little different from the other ones we put out, and it's fun and we like it. Kayla, you'd have to speak of whether I don't know if there's a deep kind of, super deep meaning to it. I think we just really liked it and we liked how it turned out. And so that ended up becoming the thing.
And it's got melodica.
Yeah.
Yes, Thomas.
Thomas-
That was like I feel like that was like a deal we had to make, because originally, like, I remember that some of the guys were like, we don't want any horns on this song. I'm like, you can't put no horns. Like, you gotta. And it was like just gonna be melodica, and I'm like, no, that's too Sesame Street.
And I think it was only melodica because when we were recording the rough, I had a melodica.
That's
in
all
my
you had
car.
on you.
And I was just like, I have a melodica. Let's just do it.
This is
Never
the magic of recording and songwriting, is that like Kayla will come up with something and then send it to me, and then I will hear it completely differently how she thought that she wanted it to be, or she is like, this is how it is right now, I want it to sound different, but I like how it sounds right now. I was not at that session with the melodica, and I heard it and I was instantly like, but this is the final vibe. It's fun and it's silly,
like,
and
no.
melodica is rad. And so it was a back and forth of Kayla like wanting to get rid of all the melodica because she didn't want it to sound like Sesame Street, but like, it was so much fun that we managed to like negotiate, a little bit stripped back horn parts, and the melodica is still in sometimes. And
I'm like, you guys all
provides
have to
the
sing.
vibes. Yeah, all of us.
So no deep meaning or story behind the song. Nothing juicy.
I feel like the main line, that like the one that's the most important and why there's a ghost on the cover of the album, is the line, you won't text back, but is it ghosting me if you're still watching every Instagram story? Like, I feel like that was a big thing. It's like, people won't answer you, and then they're looking, you just see them on your social media all the time. And then you're like, why do you care what I'm doing if you won't answer me, if you won't, these guys be out here playing games.
Cheers, sister, cheers.
So that's what it was, just kind of riffing off of that. That I do start when we play that song. I do tell everyone in the audience, I'm like, okay, this is our most girl boss song in our entire discography. So this song is for the girl bosses. That's Disappointment.
Deserved. Yeah. But the other one I want to talk about was that opener, 3 years. Because that is a great song. It's a lot of fun. It's the one that I seem to keep waking up in my head on a regular basis the last couple weeks. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that one?
All right, let's see. So that one, so everything revolves around some sort of communication with your phone. So that's kind of the loose concept of the album. That's the addictive little sound, is the notifications of your phone. And 3 years was inspired by, it's almost kind of like asking, why am I making these things up in my head? Why am I being anxious over something when it's so easy to contact someone? It's like, okay, I'm thinking of this guy, and it's like, oh, my biggest regret, nothing ever really happened, but it could have. Well, I have his phone number in my phone, why don't I just call him? Like, it's kind of building up that people are so accessible and it's so easy to communicate, but then we still don't. Why? So that's kind of where that song's coming from.
And
if that
and
makes
that
sense.
and that kind of like that lyrical moment, and I've talked about this before, that's my favorite moment lyric wise on the whole album. Because the whole song is the dramatic missed connection song, which we've heard it before, of, we could have had something, but it didn't work out, but I still think of you. And like, we've heard this format a lot of times, and all the way to the outro, it's the same. you hit the outro right after, and this is I did the horn arrangement on this one, and so the horns get louder and more dramatic every single chorus. So the last one is just like things flying around, like, and it's just, it's too much reverb and things flying around and everything. And then everything calms back down, and then, the narrator hits you with the, well, I guess I had his number the whole time, but that's not important. And you could have cut that from the end of it and it would have be like, oh yeah, I've heard this type of song before. But having that, the kind of almost throwaway at the line at the end, kind of, if you listen, and then you go back to it and listen to it with the knowledge of like, well, this person has had the number the whole time. They're just being over dramatic. The whole song gets a little bit sillier because you're not taking this person as seriously because they could have reached out. And I just absolutely love that. So good job, Kayla.
Thanks, Ryan. It's a lot of the songs are kind of just the intersection of, okay, somebody dealing with this anxiety and relationships and your phone. Like, how does this thing and the apps on here like affect how we communicate and feel in real life? And like, this thing is real and does have real implications. And whether that's something like 3 years, that moment of like, well, it's, you're really just sabotaging yourself, or maybe it really wasn't meant to be, you're kind of romanticizing this idea, because if it really were meant to be and you really did care, like, you would make a move. Or like Neurotic was inspired by, I changed it for the song because I felt like it was easier to follow in the song. You're taking pictures with your ex best girl, guess she's back in your world. But really it was inspired by Venmo, and how I was dating this guy, and I was hanging out with friends and I go out to pay somebody back on Venmo because we got dinner. And then I see the guy who had friended me on Venmo was out with his ex-girlfriend and they were having sushi or whatever, because you see it on the Venmo exchange. And I'm like, I was like gutted, but also I'm like, this is absurd. Like, this is a money transfer app. Why am I feeling like it was weird. I'm like, there's so many weird ways that these apps affect how we feel and navigate the world. So there's that. There's Professionally Offended, Thomas's favorite song. That, that's from the point of view of somebody who was working at a Silicon Valley company and was being a whistleblower and then wasn't taken seriously by the government and decided, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna do what I gotta do to survive in this world. So I mean, there's a lot of stories kind of all over the place, but all going back to your cell phone and how that's just kind of changed how people work.
I'm glad you brought up, well, that was Thomas's favorite song. I don't know if Neurotic was your favorite song, but we were going to ask you after Brain on Ska what each of your favorite songs were. And you kind of jumped into that. We know Thomas's now. Was Neurotic yours?
Mine's actually Sing You to Sleep.
Oh, okay.
And I will talk quickly on that. Then I think Thomas needs to talk about Professionally Offended.
Okay.
But for me, that was one Ryan and I really worked on and had a lot of push and pull. Ryan and I think work really well because we really push each other. Like, no, I don't like that. Try something else. And we go back and forth a lot. And then we find a compromise that neither of us had thought of, and we're like, this is it. Like, we have this moment. It's really fun. Thomas writing, he just comes in. He'll be like, you know what? This is what I hear. And he comes up with a horn part. And we're all like, that's the coolest thing ever. And then we all just like nod, yes, Thomas, that's it. But Ryan and I came to our little writing session, me and Ryan, and I'm like, I want to do something like this. And I brought If It Means a Lot to You by A Day to Remember. I love those acoustic pop punk songs that then turn into the big, all the instruments, loud rock song. And then Ryan said he wanted to do a Sigur Rós kind of song with a build up. So we kind of mixed those ideas, and Ryan did a lot of cool effects, and we recorded a million tracks. And yeah, that's just the one I'm the proudest of, that I'm like, wow, we kind of figured that out.
That one, I'm gonna jump in before Thomas because my answer is also Singing to Sleep. It took us a couple of years to figure out, like, because it was an interesting project to work on because from the beginning, or not from the beginning, but fairly close to the beginning, we had a very vague image of like, this is what it could be, but we know we're not ready to figure that out yet. And so it was something that we would come back to every once in a while. Kayla sent me basically the intro of the song. Kayla sent me a voice memo that's basically that. We re-recorded it not in voice memo quality. And I responded by immediately recording what is the basically trombone chorale that happens immediately after that. I recorded a rough sketch of that and sent it off to this, and it was probably not what Kayla was expecting in the slightest because I don't know, my brain works in symphonic ways, and you know, sometimes it doesn't work so great. But I think we found a way to kind of go from that idea and pull it back into what Kayla was thinking. And that was the one that, like, I think it's an incredible end to the album in that, you know, it is kind of, it took us the whole time that we, you know, were working on the album to figure out how it was going to work. And then once that worked, it was kind of a scary moment of like, if we can't pull this off, it's going to sound stupid. And it's going to sound like we think that we're like the best because we're doing this big thing. The fact that we got it to a point where we were all like super hyped about it was a very cool moment because we realized like, oh, this does actually work. And, you know, I sat down with Vince and we recorded brass parts, and they're all, you know, really loud and really complex and super dramatic. And then the very last clip at the very end is from the original voice memo that Kayla sent, which is why the audio quality is a little worse. But I was just so happy with how that came together because it's hard to believe that something like that is going to work until you can actually hear it. So it was a little bit of a leap until we got to a point where we liked it. But anyways, Thomas, I want to hear your pitch.
I mean, it's okay that you guys have the wrong answer for your best song on the album. It's obviously Professionally Offended is obviously the best song. The numbers prove it as well.
Thomas, I agree. I might have contributed to those numbers.
Thank you, everyone. You'll be hearing more from me about that later, or another day. But
you could break
it's
it
obviously
here.
Professionally Offended. What?
You want to break the news?
I mean, we'll break the news later, but Professionally Offended, it's got everything. You know, it's got a kick-ass start. It's got horns that you can love. It's got a story told by Kayla, with cool shouty lyrics that everyone gets to yell out. And there's a cool little jazz interlude. It's got, you know, 2 verses, 3 choruses, you know, 1 bridge. What more do you need? You know,
the perfect song.
Yeah, the perfect song.
I agree.
It's so much. I mean, genuinely. So my favorite line, my favorite lyrical moment in the whole album, is "Tell me what you need trending. Lord knows I can be offended." That is my favorite line. I think it's so intelligent. I love the way Kayla writes lyrics. They're very smart, and I think that line specifically is like, oh yeah, because what is media? Getting offended about something and watching it getting trending, right? That nothing positivity doesn't trend. You know, that's not what it is. It's gotta be the bad thing. You ever see the YouTube video? The people are just like, yeah, every time I write the worst of something, it gets 2 million views. And when I write the best, it gets, 10,000. So it's like, it's a smart lyric, and I love it so much. And it's a great song. And it's it might be the most listened to song on our album. So, the numbers might prove it.
Do you have a second favorite? Because I feel like we're on the same page.
Do I have a second favorite? My second favorite is Phone Tag.
All right,
love
Phone Tag. I like that song too, but we're not on the same page anymore. Mine is Neurotic.
Neurotic's great. I also love so there. Much.
I can play them over and over and over again, and I just love them so much. I might be a little neurotic.
What?
You know what?
Why?
Same.
Aren't we all?
Honestly.
What do you mean, might?
Christian cracks me up. He's like, no wonder you like this song, Jess. And I'm like, shut up.
You know, we're all crazy, just some more than others.
Hey, I wrote it. I feel it. So
Okay,
No,
you
talking.
I really like how you're talking about, you know, our phones are always in our hands. You know, there's so much power there. What we can do with these, it blows what we could have done with computers 20 years ago. It's what we go to for communication, but how much of our communication is nonverbal? Like 70%. You know, we're
Yeah,
looking at
absolutely.
these devices to communicate with people, but you don't get that same interaction that you do when you're with somebody face to face in the moment, you know, appreciating that time that you have with somebody like you do when you got 40 people on stage skanking. But anyways, you know, so I feel like that really speaks to something, because you know it's one of those things that we cling to, but we it's a filler. It's a filler that's never going to fill that hole for what it was originally intended for, you know. So like at a place like Skagazine saying be the scene, you know, you got to show up and you got to like take part, not just like at a show, but like in life, you know. Show up, be whatever it is you're doing, give it your all, give it your best, you know. Don't leave anything on the table. Um, Personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think the something that probably, you know, Kayla, you could probably speak more of this as the writer of most of the lyrics, but I feel like something that influenced, you know, a lot of the album is that we started working on it in the height of the pandemic when we couldn't see each other. We held a couple of Zoom sessions to do songwriting, which is so awkward. You know, like, all right, everyone shut up, they're gonna unmute and they're gonna play on the guitar to show you what they want, you know. It it I think, you know, and still, as we all, you know, a lot of us live in different places, and so, you know, we kind of moved into kind of a hybrid sort of thing, and it's like this is the first time that I've seen Thomas or talked to Thomas in a method other than text in a while. And, you know, I saw Kayla a couple of weeks ago, but I haven't talked to her over, you know, voice since then. And so it's really interesting, you know, seeing how that has affected our, you know, method of writing. And sometimes some things that we do work best over Zoom because we can, you know, and you know, we can send files online. I do the majority of the production for the band, and so everyone uploads files on Google Drive and mails them off to me, and I can do production down here. I don't have to go to them to record. But at the same time, all of our most productive songwriting sessions are always in person. That's where things happen. You know, even though like I'm talking to Kayla right now, that doesn't really mean anything in terms of instantly ping-ponging ideas back and forth. And so, you know, in starting the album online, I think we kind of moved towards a craving of in-person things because, you know, it just wasn't really working.
That is one thing that COVID did give us, is a lot of really good music, because a lot of people got busy writing about stuff. You know, they looked sitting inside at home all the time, and they started like processing some of the crap that I don't know about you guys, but before COVID, like I was burning the candle at both ends. There was just so many things going on. I didn't really stop to breathe at all. And all of a sudden the world stops, and it's like, oh, I gotta sit in all this stuff that's going on now. Awkward.
Yeah, it was a time.
It was. I
like,
think Eric's got a segment though that's a little bit more cheery. It might be as traumatic. I'm not quite sure.
Where we talk about possibly tours or even local shows, so you don't have to venture off far. But we would love to know one of your either craziest, wildest, or Ryan's favorite traumatic stories from shows. So when someone's like, "Tell me about a show," what is the first show that comes to mind?
Okay, so probably the craziest was when this guy came up to us at the end of the show and invited people to different parties. And we were a little thrown off by the implications of these little
To
paper
clarify,
flyers,
he made flyers for a swingers party.
Okay.
Okay.
but also a
um,
mannequin party.
Yes.
The
A
best part
mannequin
was
party?
each band member got different invites to different parties.
He had two different
what-
parties, and
What invite
we
did
were trying to.
everybody get?
I
got
mannequin
both.
party.
You got mannequin?
And
Yeah.
then and then almost everyone got something except for our drummer. He went up to our drummer, said, "Good job, dude," and gave him nothing.
Aw.
Drummers always.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Why are the drummers always left out?
Yeah. What is a mannequin party?
Did you go?
Oh no,
I-
no, I
We didn't find
go.
out, unfortunately. But yeah, I got both pamphlets, which I thought I was honored. I
Wait, were they
didn't go to
happening
either.
Same time, you had to like make it to both.
Must have liked your trombone.
Wasn't
Oh,
there a
jeez.
third party too?
I thought it was just two. Maybe there was a third.
there
I
was
didn't
a
get
third
invited.
thing.
No, there was a third one. I don't.
I
remember
didn't get
which one
invited
it
to all
was,
three
though.
then. Dang it.
Oh,
So
But
he's
Thomas,
clearly part of a lot of communities.
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Berkeley's crazy.
It-
He was really nice. We were just
Huh?
a little thrown off by the different invitations. Thomas, what about our next show?
What?
That'll
Talk
be
about
crazy.
Our next show.
Your next show gonna be crazy?
Oh,
Do people
do you
come?
want me to sell that one?
Yeah.
Do it.
Announce it.
Okay, so the next show that we're going to do, which I think will be one of the craziest shows, is going to be a celebration, if you will. It was going to be something else, but now it's going to be a celebration of Professionally Offended being the most listened to song after 6 months from the album being released, which means I've won my bet.
Nice.
You
if
guys
don't
know what the
about
bet
that.
was?
Yeah. He doesn't have to eat a reed.
I don't have to eat a saxophone reed,
But guess what?
But guess who does?
Oh, Kayla?
The rest of the
Everyone
band.
else.
Wait, who?
So,
Oh.
so originally the bet was just Thomas would do it or he wouldn't. But Professionally was Offended was in 9th place, and we got cocky. The rest of us were like, we're gonna book a show so that he can eat it on stage for everyone to see. So we do that, and then there's a miraculous change in tides.
Mm-hmm.
You're
in
welcome,
that-
Thomas. You're welcome.
Thank you all.
So there's Jess, there's Mida from This Is Ska Radio, and then there's a 12-year-old with an iPad.
Yep.
And the we went from 9th place to 1st place, and we had already promised this venue that somebody would eat a reed. So we're like,
Yeah.
shoot, this bet wasn't supposed to be
Venue
us
isn't.
versus Thomas. And we flew a little too close to the sun there. Poor
Yeah.
Thomas was like starting to feel a little bullied.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
now
it was,
who
it was-
won?
It was rough. You know, everyone's like, "Oh, Tom's gonna eat the reed," and I was like, "Well, okay, yeah, probably." But you know what? No, I don't. I don't have to eat a reed.
This
Do you
is
have
what
a
Tom.
reed handy? Can we see what this looks like?
What, the reed?
Yeah. Do you have one?
I mean, it's a saxophone reed. Give me
So
a...
we've
Well,
discussed. We've gone through. Kayla's scared that eating a reed would be detrimental to your health because it is processed to a certain level. It is bamboo. It's a certain variety of bamboo, and so what we're working on making alternate reeds that are safer to eat but could still be played if put on an instrument. Thomas has got the demonstration.
So like the plan was for this reed, I was going to use.
That's
I have
right.
I do some wood carving. I was going to wood carve off this hard part here,
Yeah.
and then you can kind of pressure cook this thing, and then and just tear into it like a Slim Jim.
Okay.
That was the current plan. That was my plan anyway.
And
But
and
I
so
don't
I
have to
think
care
some
anymore.
reeds up for your bandmates.
What was that?
yeah, and so
Are you gonna
the
cut some reeds up for your bandmates?
And so the thing that really got us that we flew too close to the sun is that we did a lot of logistics with the venue. Talking like we want to put a pressure cooker on stage because this is going to be a part of the show. Like we got to figure out how to put the pressure cooker on stage. And I think they may have said maybe you shouldn't have pressurized water next to a bunch of electronics.
Yeah.
You know,
Be fine.
but and so it was kind of a thing of we had already established that someone was going to be eating a reed. We were going to be cooking something at the venue, and this was a big part of it. and we were too, we didn't want to back out of that. And so we decided it would be more fair if, and this was before the bet was done, we kind of decided, like, we need to decide now what's going to happen if Thomas wins. And because we've decided that the pressure cooker is going to be there and something Reed like will be cooked and someone will eat it, it has to be, if Thomas wins, the rest of the band has to eat at least a little nibble, a bite,
Split a reed.
perhaps.
I accepted split a reed. That was fine.
So it's a 12th of a reed, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no
Yeah.
biggie.
Okay.
You were going to eat the whole thing. That's
Oh,
very
I know.
gracious of you, Thomas.
Listen. I'm happy with the way things have shaken out.
He came up with this bet all by himself. We were listening to the album before it came out on the way to Panda Express.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is the best song. It's going to be the number one. And I'm like, I don't think so, Thomas. Like, I love this song. I'm proud of it. But I think 3 years will be number one because one, just it's the first song on the album. People listen and they're like, yeah, whatever. And they stop listening. And then also, I just think that's the song. And Thomas is like, no, I stand by this. I will literally eat a reed if it's not. And I'm like, why would you do that, Thomas? That's kind of stupid. And then we went back with the Panda Express for the rest of the band, and he decided to tell everyone. He was really, really wanted to make this bet a reality, and now it's gonna come back to haunt me.
What if we dunked the reed into like Panda Express orange sauce?
Ooh,
That's doable. We could do that.
I was thinking,
Right?
like, some
I was
cinnamon
going to ask are
toast
condiments
oil.
available?
Yeah. Oh, do you like dipping sauce? It's got like the Chick-fil-A sauce right there.
Have you tried the reed with
You
orange
gotta try the
sauce?
reed with garlic aioli,
Oh my god!
like avocado.
All of a sudden, you're selling reeds, and everybody wants to eat them.
Let's
Mm.
do it. I'm gonna make the reed like Slim Jim. You open it up and tear into it. It's got your weekly fiber intake.
Interesting. Where is the show at?
Gonna be at the Art Boutique in San Jose on March 22nd with our friends in Heaven's Gate, the skate country punk band, and very appropriately, our good friends in Sad Snack, which is a ska band out of San
we know Sad
Francisco.
Snack, yeah.
They're so
Hope,
cool.
I hope somebody shares some videos so we can watch it.
I am sure there will be plenty of videos from
We'll
this
share it,
event.
too, because this is going to be interesting.
Yes, I'll
And
make sure.
now
I'll make sure
we
you get
totally
some.
expect dipping sauces, Thomas.
I'll make an array, like what is this? A charcuterie board of sauces, and then there'll be reeds along the side, like
I like the
cheese.
orange chicken sauce.
In 12s, of course.
Right? Yeah, you could just go get the orange chicken. I mean, because then it would be like, because it started with Panda Express, it should end with Panda Express,
I agree.
I also agree.
Not that my opinion matters, but I agree.
No, it's good. I need this. I need the approval.
I mean, I did help you. I helped you win, Thomas.
You did.
Yeah.
Every single person who listened to the song even once helped, like more than they know.
I typically do listen to the whole album, but I find myself on that song going back a lot. So
This is why we're here, because of people like you.
What's funny is when we first started talking about this, I would go in and look at the stats, and I'd see people literally skipping Professionally Offended.
What?
When the read bet first came out, I'm like, I can see people listen to the whole album
What is
except
wrong
for
with
this
that?
song
I
because they
mean,
wanted
they're-
him to eat the reed. People want to see the
you
world
had
burn.
it already. Okay.
Yeah.
Scum.
But Thomas had his champions.
There you go.
I really did. I had champions, and now we're here. It feels good.
It's fun. You guys love to have fun. I like it. Even if you have to eat reeds in the process.
I was ready. I was gonna do it.
Somebody
But
gonna
you
make a
don't
whole
have to.
trophy?
Little
Trophy for the
miniature trophy,
song.
put it on.
Oh, we
Trophy
should
for-
do
It
that.
needs to be made out of reeds in dipping sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Those old trophies, the tops spin off really easy, and you can put
Yeah.
other things on there.
Oh,
Like we had a fantasy football trophy that was the giant Marvel character, the purple one that just Galacticus, as the top of the trophy. That was her fantasy football thing. So you can do fun things if you wanted to. Wink, wink.
Mhm.
You know,
Peter Ward's chicken and
not saying the song deserves the trophy, but it did win.
I think if they ever come to the East Coast and you guys come out to see them, Ryan and Eric, we should present them with a trophy. We'll have to make one.
We would be honored. Specifically,
That'd be
Thomas would be
awesome.
honored.
Oh,
True, I would be.
If it's a Detroit show, me and Eric got it. If it's in Pennsylvania, it's on you, Jess.
Oh, it might not be in either place.
So yeah, we met at a festival. We like to go to festivals. We keep talking about them, and one of my favorite things about some of them we go to is there's so many kids there. I love seeing all these rude boys and rude girls down the pit skanking with me. You guys, we talked about it earlier. If you guys had a message to this next generation of punks, what would you say it is?
I got one.
All right.
For me, it would be don't let anyone stop you from doing what you love. Don't let anyone tell you you're not good enough. Because I literally have had so many people tell me, like, you suck, don't sing, they want a mutiny in the band. We had people, like, reach out to our social media accounts and be like, you need a new singer. I could be your new singer. And I'm like, it's the singer running this account. Like, sorry, the position is taken. But, like,
That's
that was
awful, by the way.
it
pretty
kind of
awful.
sucked, but you know, I think it made me stronger. It made me want to work harder and get better. And I am so happy just playing music with my best friends. And you know, it's like, don't let people stop you because they're bitter and upset about stuff. I mean, people on the internet are going to be mean, but that means you're reaching people and you're saying something. So yeah, don't let anyone stop you from doing what makes you happy.
Awesome. Thank you.
I tried to bring my ox in because he not only goes to the shows and has fun at them, but he is a musician as well.
Yeah.
He plays the drums. He loves to play the keyboard. He's been up on stage to sing with quite a few bands, most notably the Suicide Machines and Boy Detective.
Dang.
So I
Name
wanted
a song if they want to hear it. But the beginning of scrap.
no, he wants to create a new genre. It's ska and rap. He's calling it scrap.
It's actually
Awesome.
That can work.
yeah.
I love that.
I was in a band that did that about 10 to 12 years ago. So I'm in it. It was onto something. So if he can make
Yeah.
it work, I think it's a great idea.
So, you know how I like ska, right? Sports dude. You're gonna be a legend one day. You know how I love rap, right? Yeah. Well, I had this silly idea. Ska and rap combined. Here we go. Yo. Don't scrap this idea, get it? This ain't ska. This ain't rap. This is
I heard this ain't ska, this ain't rap.
This is scrap.
Scrap.
Yeah.
That's a bar.
That is a straight bar.
Keep doing what you love, Ox.
You're funny, dude.
Awesome.
Let us finish up. Go ahead.
Thank you, Ox.
Sorry, I got lost in the sauce there. There's the question. A message that I want to send to the kiddos.
Yes.
I believe the question was, can you scrap?
I can't scrap here. It's not the right day of the week.
Okay. That's respectful.
So I think my message, one that really was important for me to learn, is that when you are in a like when you're at the gig, right? You're watching or something, people want you to participate and enjoy and like do stuff, right? They people, no one is going to look at you and be like, oh, you're dancing, like that's, it took me a while to get there. Genuinely, it did, and I still struggle with it sometimes. Sometimes I still want to just stand in the back and listen to music, and just kind of bop my head and like, yeah, it's pretty cool, I thought too cool for school kind of thing. People want you up there. They want you to dance. They want you to do the circle. So it is people want you up there. That's my message, is that people want you there. It's okay to go and do the thing. People will welcome you in. and you'll be much better for it. It'll make you have a better time. It'll make people will remember who you are. It'll help you get involved. And people are like, you're the guy who danced around in a circle with a saxophone. I'm like, yeah, that's me. So that's my message, is just don't be afraid to get in there. No one will make fun of you, and if they do, they shouldn't be at the scene anyway.
Participate.
Yeah, it's a everyone should participate. It's a group activity.
I think we have asked this question to many people, and you were the first one who has brought that up. And it's a message that people should hear. So thank you.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times when the room is not full, people tend to stand away from the stage, and I'm always like, come on, get up towards the stage. You want people to be in close, right? And you want to feel them close to you. Is that correct?
Yeah, as the band, I love it when people are up, and I don't care if there's 6 people in front of us and everyone else. I want us to all be together and in this moment and enjoying it, right? That it helps the performers. And then if I'm also me watching a show, I want to be up there showing them that I'm listening. Sometimes I'm tired and I have to stand in the back, but if I have the energy, I'll go forward and get a drink first and then go. That's my message.
I think jumping in, I think the biggest thing that I would say is that like it's not like a regret because I'm here and I'm doing the thing. One of the things that I feel like I've struggled with a long time is like waiting to do stuff like this and waiting to put myself out there because I don't think I'm good enough to do it. And I feel like there's a certain like, oh, I want to, we want to do this song, but it's like, we don't think we're good enough to do that thing. The only way you're going to get good at it is to do it. And if you keep saying, I'm not good enough, you will never be good enough because your standards keep going up the better you get. And so, I think the biggest message is like, if you want to do something, do it now. There's no reason to wait, because if you wait, you might keep on waiting. Versus just kind of diving in and, trying the thing that you want to do, whether it is forming a band or just writing music or anything like that. I think doing the thing is the number one way to get better at the thing. And partially saying this to myself, but I think, that's a huge thing, is just trying things, and you're not going to be the best in the world at the beginning, and who cares? You're having fun,
It's okay to fail.
Yeah, we had another guest recently who said, what's this quote, which I
It's
love.
okay to suck.
It's okay to suck.
Embrace the suck.
For like 30 years, and I still suck, and I still get up there and I do it and I suck. He doesn't suck, by the way, but he thinks he does. So, I mean, everybody might feel that themselves, but what other people see you for and how they appreciate you might not be the same thing you're feeling. So just keep doing it. And you get better every time, I'm sure. I mean, I don't play music, so I don't know. I can't really speak on it. I can only share what I've heard and hope that my kid does the same thing. And that was Eric Abbey from multiple bands. You might know him from Jay Navarro and the Traders, Detroit Rhythm Crew, Killer Diller. What else, Eric?
1592.
1592. He's been around a while. And he still said he sucks, and he just gets up there and he sucks.
Yeah. The Interrupters got a really good song that talks about that. The go easy on yourself, because nobody else has gone easy on you. We're always our own worst critic, but it's keep at it.
Wasn't that not to call it out, and that sounded, was that Bob Marley originally? Am I crazy? I don't think that was. I think that may have been a Bob Marley song.
I don't know the song.
I mean, the Interrupters did it. I'm not saying they didn't do it.
No, I don't know the song that they did, so I can't tell you, but
I think Bob Marley did it originally. We can Google that later.
I don't know the Interrupters that well, but they do play a great live show. That's fun.
They do.
We went to the Four Chord Festival, not this year, but the year prior, and they they headlined one night, and by that point in the night I was done. I was just like chilling, having fun towards the back, but oh my gosh, what a good set they played. And I was just watching their circle pit gets pretty damn big. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Just,
love Amy. She brings so much energy to
oh,
her.
Amy's great. Yeah.
Speaking of circle pits and the interrupters,
Yeah.
where can we find you guys? If people wanted to learn more about you and find out, find your music and so forth and so on, where would they go?
Social media is probably the best. We're most active on Instagram, even though, we have our songs talking about how social media has its downfalls. But that is where we are.
It's getting
Um,
worse, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can find us there. We also have a website. It's voluntaryhazing.wixsite.com because we have the free one because DIY. Although shout out to Uncle Kurt, right, Thomas? He got us a
We have the domain. We just have to make the site now, and that requires work and skill.
Yeah.
And those are two things I don't like or have.
voluntaryhazing.com coming soon, so you don't have to use the long title.
It'll be there one day.
One day. But yeah, if you type our band into Google, we are usually also the first thing that comes up.
Bandcamp too, I assume.
Yes, we have our Bandcamp. TikTok.
I looked on Bandcamp to see if there was a vinyl because I am a vinyl collector, and there was not. And I hope one day
Please.
that Addictive Little Sounds makes its way on vinyl, because it damn well should.
Kayla knows this about
Somebody
me.
should put that on vinyl.
That's my number one goal for the band, is to get, because you need enough people to sell a vinyl, because they're not cheap overhead wise, and so that's all I want, is to just get enough people to commit to purchasing a vinyl, even if it's just one person who just takes pity on me and buys like 100 of them. I want to see it. That's like my biggest goal with the band at this point. So please, let's do that.
Have you guys thought about doing a Kickstarter?
Well, Ryan has an idea that it's a website, right?
There's been a variety of vinyl crowdfunding sites kicking around. They're not always the best like sound quality wise, and I've seen mixed reviews with that. So the question is, how far do we want to go to make the album sound really good on vinyl, considering that it was entirely mixed and produced on my laptop, the crowdfunding thing is interesting because there is no overhead and they only print them if you get enough people to do it. But I also know that there's been kind of mixed reviews in terms of the resulting quality of that. It can be tricky.
I've done a couple, but I think I did Amy Gabba and the Almost Famous. I don't know if you've heard them, but I think you would like them. That one was a Kickstart, but it was distributed by Jump Up Records, so they obviously did their thing and it sounded really good. The other thing I did was, I think this is New Tone, the Bad Time thing, but that was a whole different thing as well, because they have, top-notch shit going on over there. I don't know. I don't know anything else about it, but it's an option.
Bug Hunter only releases his music through Kickstart. He usually does like postcards and posters and stuff along with it, but he could be on a record label, but he said he doesn't want to have that type of overseer.
Who is it?
He's Bug Hunter. So he's a indie folk artist. Really chill, like happy, casual, quirky music. It's good listen. But yeah, he only does Kickstart because he's got all the control that he wants to. There's no pressure on anything. People realize that you're gonna get it when it's finished and it's produced. So it might be 6 months, it might be a year and 6 months. It's just gonna be a pleasant surprise when you do.
Anything you would like to share with our audience / your fans before you get out of here?
I just want to say thank you to anyone who's ever listened to us, to anyone who's listening to this, thank you to you guys for having us. It's literally almost midnight at your time, so thank you for staying up on a Friday night to hang out with us. Like, what?
And we
So
are
just
old.
thank you.
You know that we are fucking old.
A little post production edit for you, Jess. The reason why I asked about the fires is because Cat Bite and Laura Jane Grace released that Op Ivy set, raising money for animals and for the neighbors and stuff affected by those fires, and they've had a lot of success. I think they raised like $9,000.
No, it was like $23,000.
Oh well, excuse me,
Yeah.
but I know that can be found on Bandcamp as well. You know, so if you're a fan of Op Ivy, Laura Jane Grace, or Cat Bite, go check it out and you know, throw some money towards a good cause.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Eric, you have something you want to say?
Hey, just a friendly reminder as we close up that you want to have a scene, you have to be part of your scene, and you have to show up and go to some shows and buy some merch, because without that, without you, it will not be shows. All right. Good night, everybody.
Be the scene.
Be the scene.
Later, you guys. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Guys.
Tell me what's next on the agenda. You got a message and you're looking for a sender. Give me $1, I'm your favorite pretender. I'll get 'em in a blurry, in a hurry, don't you worry, hon. They try to tell me that antagonizing ain't a weapon. Try to warn them, but they can't seem to learn a lesson. The world's burning and they ain't even second guessing. Morality's dissipating rapidly. Professionally offended. Professionally offended. Yeah, I'm professionally offended. I'm professionally offended. Professionally offended. Yeah, I'm professionally offended. I'm replacing. Don't tell me you're thinking that I lost control. It was conscious when I signed and sold my soul. Can't believe that they laughed it up and let me go. Pretty soon they're gonna wish they took me seriously. Didn't think I'd be an actress or the algorithm, but no one listening, your girl's gotta make a living. They forget that the pen is mass manipulation. So tell me what you need trending, 'cause Lord knows I can be offended. Especially offended. Especially offended. Yeah, I'm especially offended. I'm especially offended. Especially offended. Yeah, I'm especially offended. I'm replacing. Subjectivity is objectivity when your reality is only what you see. This community is smaller than it seems, but the words across the screen are woke rationality. It's never really what you say, it's only ever what they hear. Professionally offended, yeah, I'm professionally offended.